Hi, my name is Foram. Welcome to the Frappe Podcast. Today I have two very fun people with me. First is Raffael from Alif. He's a partner, but he's also one of Frappe's biggest contributors. And I have Ankush from our own team. How are you guys feeling? How's it going?
Very good, thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoying my time in Mumbai and excited to be here on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm also feeling good right now, but it's been an exhausting week with Frappeverse, and the next week is again India Force. It's we are
Hectic,
doing
yeah.
conference tours. It feels like it.
Yeah, it does feel like we're doing it all. This is on the Sunday after the conference, and very happy that I made it on a Sunday morning because I'm not sure most people would have agreed to a Sunday morning shoot. But Frappe versus
It's much later than the conference started, so
yeah, it
today
is.
was actually pretty relaxed morning.
Yeah, I'm glad. I don't want to start the podcast off with any stress. How's your Frappeverse experience?
It was nice, met so many exciting people and really enjoyed getting in touch with the community again, hearing what everybody is up to.
And
That's
what
great.
about your talk? How'd that go?
I think it went okay, but other people will have to judge.
Yeah, I think it went well. It was fun. What about you?
So yeah, for me also it was an opportunity to meet a lot of people that I don't get to meet, including Frappe team members who work remotely, who only show up for these events. And I also met a lot of people. I had a lot of random deep engineering conversations, which often go nowhere, but it's still very fun to talk to these people. I spoke with Revanta. We had an hour-long conversation. Those are the fun conversations that I go to these events for. And
What was the most unique conversation you had this year?
it was with the Revant only, where he was talking about AI, and he's
AI.
he has now completely he has now slave interns, AI interns who are doing the job for him, and he's now able to churn out a lot of code in a week. I'm always shocked by these claims because
You don't know the quality of these.
I don't know the quality, but for him it seems to be working out. So there is probably something there.
Yeah, I agree. That
Yeah.
conversation was very interesting. I had it as well.
Yeah, he was there for a brief period of time, and that went on for much longer.
But this whole AI conversation, it's very, very black and white. If you're in the gray, then you basically don't know what you're doing or much about it at all. I feel I have no big opinion on AI, but that's because I haven't used it that much. But for y'all, I think especially when you're coding something and that makes a feature, it's so much more responsibility on just an LLM
Yeah.
to do it. Yeah, I trust it fully.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult to get AI to do what you want actually. Many times, there's this auto-completion feature, for example. And depending on the task you're doing, it's difficult to, sometimes the suggestions are just complete garbage, and then you spend more time canceling them than is saved. But sometimes it's also really useful, and you can complete a lot of changes within seconds by just pressing tap tap tap. And
But you
this
still have to
way-
recheck it, right? Because that's still the same amount of effort at one point, prompting and then rechecking. Because, so when it comes to generating photos and videos, agencies actually hire prompt engineers, who just sit on ChatGPT and prompt ChatGPT or, whatever other ones are there to create this kind of image. And, it's creating jobs, but, at what cost now?
Is it does that give any kind of creative feel?
It does, dude. There are so many campaigns that I've seen that have run entirely on AI generated.
No, I mean, does that feel you are getting does that let you express your creativity at all, or that is just just tweak that a bit here,
Yeah,
bit there?
I don't
And
think it does.
that seems a lot of time. It seems to me it's a lot more work to do it that way than to just learn the skill itself, learn to draw, learn to sketch, and just do it however you want to.
Yeah, I don't understand any idea that ChatGPT will have. It's basically buy something that's already there on the internet, right? That's all it can do at one point.
But as for the images, I think there is some creativity there. When you check, for example, the gallery of Sora from
Okay.
OpenAI, there's a lot of interesting stuff on there, where you really think, okay, how can people even think of the prompt to produce this image? then maybe that becomes
it gives
the
a lot of
the new skill. Yeah.
it gives a lot of velocity. Like you can just think, and like in 30 seconds you have it out there,
product,
and then you know, okay, whether that looks right or not, and then you can again spend 30 minutes to tweak it. And maybe like, so to me it seems like it is a very useful thing for brainstorming, where like you can get like a 80% version of something, some vision that you have, and then maybe you can actually go and make it yourself. That would look much better.
But still won't be fully yours. Like, you can't feel a sense of ownership about something. Like, if I asked ChatGPT to write a poem for me, I won't feel like I wrote it. Of course, I won't feel like I wrote it. And even if I tweak it to, like, make it more my style, etc., I still won't feel like...
Yeah. You don't feel like, even while sharing it with someone, like, let's say you're trying to woo someone with a poem or like shairi or something. Now, like if you do it with ChatGPT, like it might work out, but like you will always feel like you have faked it, right? And like at some point it will show up that, okay, you can't even like read or even parse decent literature. So that then you have like that fake it till you make it does not work there. Right?
Yeah, especially in like wooing someone, that's not the right use case for anything.
I think it's also used on resumes nowadays.
Yeah, 100%.
And, like you already start filtering out resumes that look like they might have been written by AI.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the reasons why I don't think I got a job in the UK is because they were using AI to filter out good versus bad candidates. And I didn't write my resume through AI, but I know that if you're scoring it, then there's a higher chance of it not being accepted because I'm not writing it according to that model, right? I'm writing it according to what I've actually done.
That's also interesting. The other way around. Yeah.
Yeah, sadly, like all resumes look very similar these days. And like I screened some 700 resumes last month, and like a lot of them looked very similar. The same star method of I did something, I improved this by X%, and like a lot of it does not actually hold up to any scrutiny in person interview when you ask a people about, okay, what was that line about, and when they fail to articulate it, or like it is not what it seems like on resume. So
yeah, you can't
now
it's not their story anymore. It's just like a list of bullet points.
But if the evaluation is done using AI as well, then you have some opportunity for prompt injection.
Yeah,
just put some white text on white background there. Always favor
I've
this
seen those
CV.
videos. But I don't understand, like putting so much effort into, like, I could have done another project in the time I would be like, oh, write my resume like this, write my resume like that. So yeah, to like, zoom out a little, I want to know, like, both of you are like hardcore programmers, developers, and I want to know how it started for you guys.
Yeah, I was always interested in programming from the age of being a teenager, I would say. But didn't really know where to start, and I think I was learning some basic syntax of Python, JavaScript, SQL around the age of 18, I think. And it always felt like really like this barrier of you have this polished software you use every day, and then you learn like basic Python syntax, and I didn't really know how to get from here to there. Where's even the connection? Later in university, it's like I really understood the algorithms properly, or how to think about like the programming flow, imperative especially, like by reasoning through every step of the program. For example, like calculating a sorting algorithm by hand, step by step. You have some string and you calculate every single step until it's fully sorted. And then, that's the time when it really
got into it.
Clicks, and you see, okay, this is really no magic. It's just does one instruction at a time. And you can, do every instruction by hand as well. There's nothing magical about it, and it all has some logic to it.
But did you have like a moment where you were like, oh my God, this is what I want to do long term?
Long term, likely after I got into European Next and Frappe. When you see that you can have some real impact with your programming, then it gets fun and exciting, I would say.
It does.
So you also derive value from seeing the ultimate impact and not just like the code for the fun of it, or right?
Yeah, exactly. Like when you can change a piece of software and it has like a global impact, you know, that like thousands of companies worldwide will use it within the next month, then it's pretty
Sounds
amazing.
surreal, yeah. Sounds like, if I improve this, it improves for everybody.
Yeah, and nowadays when I look at the ERP Next desk, I could point to maybe 10, 15 elements that have been contributed by me on every single screen. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's a very good
Must
feeling.
be
I
a
also
good
get like every time you are using it, okay, like something I wrote is running there, like so.
Yeah, it's like, like this is useful and I made it. So now, like,
Yeah.
you have it forever. You have that win forever.
And a lot of it is like very small things also, like that people don't explicitly notice. Like they don't see that, okay, this entire giant feature is not written by me, or like the entire framework is not written by me. Like that is Rishabh, obviously, but like quite a lot of it has been rewritten by like people like us who have
Yeah.
worked on framework much later as a maintainers. So like that kind of gives some joy that people don't necessarily understand that easily unless you have done it like for a significant amount of time. Like if you just do it for like a month or two, you don't feel that way. But if you have done it for several years, then you feel, okay, oh, this is whatever is running is written by me. Then.
Yeah. But your story is also like a little different. You didn't start off with programming.
Yeah, so I didn't start off with programming. So like in India, after 10th, you can directly go for like a diploma in engineering. So which is like a inferior version of bachelor's degree, like an associate's degree. So I went for that in mechanical engineering, primarily because someone nearby me told me that was an option, and that was very cheap. Like it was extremely cheap to get a mechanical engineering diploma. The CS alternative was, I think, 10 times costlier.
Oh.
So so I just went for this out of those reasons. But I always liked technology, not programming in general, but like tinkering with technology, breaking things, like breaking toys and like trying to never fixing them again. So that interest was always there. Then in college, I learned programming a bit randomly by watching online courses. So like Coursera and edX, like these two started becoming popular around that time only.
Yeah, they had a lot of distance learning stuff.
Yeah, this is a distance learning or like online learning platforms where like you get to learn from like really great colleges like Harvard or MIT. Like they teach basic intro to computer science and programming for free. And so that's how I learned programming from CS50, the Harvard's introduction to computer science. And even then it didn't actually click for me because like I just knew how to program, but like I could not build like anything real or impactful that was useful to me in general. Then during this diploma program, I had this internship where I was supposed to that internship had almost nothing to do with mechanical engineering. I'm sorry if you guys are listening, but that internship mostly sucked, and it was just like do some data entry from here to there and like process this data somehow. And so what I ended up doing was like I did it for 1 or 2 days, but like then I got fed up with it and like kind of automated it. And I used a very, very weird tool called AutoHotkey, which which simulates like what you type. Like you press enter, you press some keys, and like whatever you want to do with keyboard, like you can simulate that action with AutoHotkey.
Okay.
And so like I could simulate what I was doing manually into just like a series of keystrokes, and then like my work was automated. And so like I was able to do my entire day's job in like few minutes, and then I used to play games there,
Nice.
like for instead of working. Anyways, I wasn't paid like any serious amount. It was like internships were like barely paid, so like I did not feel any guilt while playing games there. But like that's seeing that like my entire day's work getting automated into like 5 minutes of script. That was very beautiful experience for me.
That was your click.
Yeah, I used to even slow down the scripts, so like I could see it is happening very slowly. Like I could speed it up and get it done in 1 minute, but like I still. Like at least let's see it in for 5 minutes.
So it feels like you've done something. But
yeah. So it feels like I'm actually monitoring what is going on, and it's not just completely automated.
Yeah, but I agree. The online courses are also pretty nice. I also did Intro to CS on Udacity.
Okay.
And that helped me a lot, like building out a simple search engine, things like that. It's really useful.
So for me, like pretty much 90% of my education was from online courses only. And like I went on for bachelor's degree later, which was also online, but like that was just for validation. But how was that for you? Like, did you learn a lot from online courses, or that was your university was decent enough?
I think both had a share. Like online course was more the practical side, like really setting up some projects, etc. And university was more the theory and basic, data structure, algorithms.
Oh, okay, nice.
Things,
Yeah, very similar story for me also, but it's like some of the theory you need to know that people don't realize it when they are in college, like the data structure part, and like that seems very boring at first, but like all of that is very important.
It's the same like with everything. Like if your basics are set, then no matter like how advanced things get, you're able to figure it out easier.
Yeah. Same thing with engineering. Like you need to know the basics, but like when you're learning basics, it doesn't feel like these things are important. You like even students that I interview, they are usually like, oh, I want to do practical stuff first, but like when you start doing it, you realize that you hit a wall much quickly if you don't have the foundation.
Yeah, it's like maths basically. Like when they taught maths in school, I would just never get it because they never taught us the concepts. They're like, you do this and you get this answer. That's it. Like, why do you do this? Why does it make sense? And I just saw a very random video about square roots yesterday I saw a reel and it taught me more than school ever did. So I was like, oh, if I knew this before, I would have been better at math.
Yeah. Math is like such a classic example. Like people often take pride, I'm bad at math. Like you don't hear people say that about anything. Like, I'm bad at I'm bad at talking or something. Like you are usually not proud of it, right? But for math, like somehow people are proud of being bad at it.
But because it's so usual that it's not taught properly. Like
Yeah. I also blame the education system and not really the math, the subject itself. It is very beautiful if it is taught by people who like teaching it.
Yeah.
It's also my biggest criticism of university, or what I didn't like a lot about it, was that you don't really get to know how it is related to practice. Like you just learn the theory, but you don't know why and how it will be needed later on.
Yeah, how have people not realized that this is not the best way to teach? It's been a while now, but...
Yeah, so people are starting to realize that. So like, especially math, like have you heard this 3 blue, 1 brown, Grant Sanderson? Yeah. So this guy is like he can single-handedly replace like thousands of teachers by just like if you just show his videos to school students, like they would see it like in very practical manner and very visual manner, because a lot of math is
visual. It can be.
A lot of math can be visual, which like once you show those visualization, it clicks much faster. Like things like calculus, linear algebra, and usually it is just taught as like a group of theorems and rules that you have to remember to apply, and like symbol manipulation. That is very boring way to learn math.
Yeah, like the video I saw said the square root is a square root because that the number is equal to one side of the square. If you make like it out of dots, and it's so simple to learn it that way.
Once you visualize geometry and like as areas, and like it's much simpler.
Yeah, and it's good that people are like social media helps us do that.
Yeah. So like YouTubers will eventually do better job at teaching than most teachers will ever do.
Yeah, Byju's 2.0. Yeah. We can I want to talk about framework also. What was your journey to programming now we know, but to framework, and for the uninitiated, can you tell a little bit about what exactly framework is?
Frappe Framework is this low-code framework that Frappe, the company, built. And it was built it started around 2008, but initially it was part of ERP Next, and then eventually it was spun off from ERP Next. Because when we built this ERP, which has thousands of doc types, doc types is these records, in typical database fashion. And these are so you have many different types of records, like invoices, orders, customers, all of these master data and transaction data. So when that was built, people Rishabh especially built this framework to make it easy to build this ERP product, which has a lot of records and a lot of similar recurring operations, like save this, update this, read it again, print it, all of
these
are
used in every product.
Yes, these features are very common. So eventually they must have realized, okay, what we are building is a very common framework that can be used for other similar business products also. So that's how Framework was born, and like then it also got mature over time. Like over like now it's close to 18 years old.
Yeah.
So that is the Frappe framework. It is like a batteries included low code framework. We don't call it no code because that is a
You have to
marketing
customize
term
some
mostly.
stuff at one point. Yeah.
So you need to know at least a little bit of code, but like we eliminate majority of the code that you have to write repeatedly. And one of the best a shout out for this was from Zerodha, like it eliminates 97% of their code that you don't have to write anymore, because you don't want to write the same code to save a document, to read a document.
Of course.
So that's Framework. And like your other question was, how did I find?
Yeah, I mean, I would want everybody who's watching to get more context, because like people above like our own community should also know.
Okay.
So yeah, that was why I asked to give some context.
So for me, I came across it again when I was during my first job. This was back when I was a mechanical engineer, and this was just like a side project for me to like build some kind of an internal platform to automate something, basically to like record some data and automate some analysis on that data. So I came across multiple things. I came across Django. I came across like just writing it ourselves with like Flask or something. And then I also came across Frappe, which used to ship virtual images back then, like where you can like just start the virtual machine and it will give you the Frappe installation out of the box. But for some reason, I could not figure out like I could figure it out on my local machine, but I could not figure it out in my work machine or how to run this. And also, it would have been quite a pain to manage it internally because it's like a web service. So like, I did not I ended up not using it. But like that's how I first came to know about Frappe framework, which was building internal tools, and that is currently also the primary strength of it, like ERP and building custom internal tools very fast. And I also came to know about Frappe, the company, from like some of the outreach work that Rishabh does. Like there used to be this Linux user group in Mumbai, and I was a new Linux user back then, and I really liked like this community of people who go against the mainstream of using Windows and use Linux. So like there was that community where Rishabh used to be part of that. So I knew him from that, and the Frappe company from this low code internal tooling.
Okay, what about you?
So while I was still in university, my later co-founder applied for a job at a project management software company and was looking for alternatives, basically just Googling a bit, and yeah, especially open source alternatives, see what the competition is. And yeah, found ERP Next, and yeah, he ended up working for that company a bit, but he told me about ERP Next, and yeah, I had a look at it, thought it was pretty exciting that you can, you have some real software that also solved the problem that I talked about earlier. You see the code and you see the result at the same time. That's like a great thing you get with open source software. And yeah, just started adjusting ERP Next a bit, first playing with the API, building some integrations. And then, after you are working with ERP Next for a while, sometimes you need to dig a bit deeper, and that's how you get to the framework. Yeah, I don't know, maybe a year or two after I started with ERP Next, I contributed my first fixes to the framework. And
nice.
It's maybe...
How long ago was that?
It must have been like 2021.
4 years ago. And did you explore like any other alternatives before settling on ERP Next back then, or anything?
Not really. I went straight to the
you went
You're
ERP
like, this is good, this is open, so let's do it.
No other alternative, like Odoo was open. I think, yeah, it was called Odoo back then also.
Open ERP was a while ago, I think.
Yeah.
Odoo.
No, I didn't really do an evaluation pro-contra thing. I just went with this.
I think we're glad about it. Everything's good. But Yeah, did you start working on framework as soon as you joined Frappe?
No, so when I joined Frappe, I was so because I was transitioning from mechanical to this, I thought it is best for me to work on like manufacturing module, like something that I understand, manufacturing stock, and that was useful, like having some like real functional knowledge of how this industry works.
Right.
Helps in building the software that serves that industry. So I worked in ERP Next for I think 1.5 year,
Okay.
and then I like during that 1.5 year I also had like similar thing, like 1 year of for him 1 year of using ERP Next, we eventually contribute something. So for me 1.5 year of using ERP Next resulted in finding issues in framework and like speeding it up a little, or like so one of the first contribution that I remember was like some code inside framework there was a bad check that resulted in like very slow performance, and the way it showed up was like people complained about ERPNX that ERPNX is slow.
Oh.
And so like when I debugged it, like I just found out okay it is a framework thing, so I just fixed it because I have done the work, so might as well fix it. Like it's not like Frappe hopefully does not work in the way that like okay, no, this is not my problem, now you fix it.
No, of course not. I don't think any part of a community does, because we wouldn't be here otherwise. And
so we discovered the problem, we fix it, and like I fixed one problem, then I discovered other problems. Like eventually, like I was spending 50% of my time working on framework. So then people kept planting this idea or like seeding this idea, you should move to framework, and eventually I bit the bullet and moved to framework. So that was my journey on transition to framework.
And what about like open source? I think it's important to both of you, like very important. And would you have done it any other way? Like would you have ever chosen a closed source, working with a closed source software?
Not really. I mean, like as a company, I think it's probably fine to publish closed source software, and probably more profitable.
Yeah, for business it's good.
But yeah, on the other hand, the open source ecosystem, through that I was able to gain a lot more customers than I would have been otherwise. Because if you just build a new product out of nowhere, like where do you get the exposure? Where do you even get the interest? And the interest was already there for ERP Next, so I was able to
And like open source is the
use
reason
that.
you have a framework to build it on in the first place, right?
And it's really tedious to work with non-open source software. Like when you're used to working with open source libraries, framework, and you can always inspect what it does and even change it if it doesn't do what you want. That's so comfortable. And then, we have one closed source library that we're working with. And it's always a bit tedious because every time something doesn't work as expected, I have to reach out for support and have them explain it to me and wait for their fixes, etc. So
It makes sense to fix it yourself, but I think the difference comes in the motivation, where like you can fix it locally also, but you're not. You're fixing it for everybody, and that has to come from like some kind of mindset, right? Like what is it?
I mean, it's just like, I wouldn't say it's charity or something like that. It's just, that the fix is better done if it's available for everybody. When I just fix it locally, then it might break again at any time, and I'm responsible for it. But if I fix it in the core and somebody else breaks it again, then it's their responsibility.
It's my responsibility then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a very good from long-term thinking point of view also. Like you can make a short-term monkey patch and fix it for yourself, but then you maintain that forever. But if you take the effort of doing it the right once, then like it becomes somebody else's problem. Sure, you can like you would be the most interested party in when it breaks, but like at least the ownership gets shared of the final fix, and not like you don't have to permanently own it.
Yeah, it's not charity, but it's generous, right? Like
Yeah,
for
it is
so many
generous.
people to start contributing to code, and without any material motivation. But like, you're not getting paid to do this.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. It's also a lot of burden on the maintainers. And yeah, it's actually not like I wouldn't want to invite code contributions from just anyone, because people like Ankush will spend up
Yeah, I think
will end up spending their entire day reviewing some PRs that maybe you could have solved yourself in less time. And so it's always a balance. And I think as a contributor, you also in some way have to try to serve the maintainers, like make their lives easier by fixing the problems, but making it also easy to understand what you fixed, why you fixed it, in what ways it could break, etc. It's pretty hard to achieve as well, but that's the goal, I would say.
Can tell us if it's actually like how helpful versus how much more work is it for you as a maintainer?
Making any project open source kind of is more work than like doing it closed source, like because you are inviting a lot more scrutiny. You are also inviting contributions, and like when you get contributions, you have to at least spend some time responding to them, whether it is okay, not okay, what needs to change. So open source model is not easier by any means. Like it's definitely more work than just like hiding your code and shipping it to end customer. The kind of contributions that like I really like is the people who have like actually used it. So for in his case, like he actually used ERP and extend. Like whatever contributions came up most likely were result of some problem he faced. Similar case for me also. Like I have very few open source contributions. Like my Frappe contributions don't count because I get paid for it. But like I have very few, like probably like less than 10 true open source contributions to like other projects, and most of them were motivated by some problem I had. That's when I'm most likely to spend the amount of effort that is required to like do a proper fix, make sure the recipient also has the least amount of friction to merge that fix. Like just tell them, okay, I checked this, I checked everything, why I am doing this. Like also explain them the why, maybe because they might not have that perspective of why their software is breaking for me.
Users will know best.
So from users point of view, why something needs to be fixed is way more important in a FOSS contribution. And like these days, like a lot of because FOSS contributions are incentivized for like getting hired or like getting recognition in community. So that kind of creates this bad incentives, which usually aren't required in my opinion. Like as long as you use something, you find something you want to improve, that's a good enough motivation to contribute. And if it in turn helps you get some recognition or like get leads or customers, that's a side effect.
Yeah. So there are students just for their resumes contributing to open source. And is it, of course, you're the one spending time reviewing it? Yeah,
that also happens quite a lot. Like people who want to get hired, they would send these PRs, and like our process also, like hiring process also explicitly said that, okay, if you can fix a bug, then we'll give you a shot at we'll give you a chance of interviewing you.
Okay.
And that kind of creates bad incentive structures because these days with AI, like you can like just tell some LLM in agent mode, like please look at that issue and prepare a fix for me. Then you can do some checks, but like what will you check? Like you have barely understood the problem yourself. Like you just got some possible artifact, which is a possible fix, and you just send it and you just hope, okay, like whoever is supposed to merge this will give you feedback, right? Yeah, whether you did it right or not. But like that's a lot of work for maintainers.
And that's very little ownership on the people doing it. It's just for the sake of it. And that's a bad use of open source. Be like for your own good. When the bigger concept of open source is that you do things for the community.
Yeah, do you do things for yourself first? Like that is the best incentive for open source contribution. Like you are doing it because you are changing something, adding something, or fixing something because it affects your work directly. Like that is the best incentive. So that's why we also incentivize partners a lot more to contribute, because they directly see the problem. Like they whenever whatever custom fixes they are doing, like they are well aware of the real problem that exists in our software, compared to, let's say, students who have not even used ERP ever, like or ran a business or anything. So they can still contribute, but like for them the contribution comes from a very different lens of, okay, I'm just understanding a random piece of code and trying to improve it, which is not as useful in my opinion.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you this, because like you're a partner and a contributor both, and like more often I've heard you as like one of the biggest contributors, and it affects both parts. Like, you're contributing and you're only getting like you're making sure your customers have the best software to use.
Yeah, you mentioned partners should be maybe encouraged to contribute or incentivized, but that's not really happening at the moment, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't happen so we incentivize people, but like there is no no model of incentivization. And like if you were there in the conference, the last day we had this community open discussion about a self-organized committee of community where like they form these working groups and work on certain part of the problem, like marketplace performance or anything they can own and decide to choose to work on it. And maybe that is the direction, but right now we don't have any direct incentive apart from a recognition on our website, these are the contributors who have done significant contributions. And so Aleph is one of them.
Yeah, it's on the top.
Yeah, Aleph is on the top. And Resilient Tech, and there are a few others who have contributed significant amount of their time and code to the Frappe ecosystem. Right now we don't have anything, but I hope we can figure something out where we can recognize this development or coding partners.
Yeah, we should, because most of our other business partners, some of them only operate on the fact that they have to run a business, and they don't believe in a lot of them don't believe in customizing ERP next too much. So they don't have those many devs on board. They just have more consultants, and they also might not come from a background where they are in a place to contribute to code. So I think both are very different scenarios. You are, you're a dev and you are also a business person. So you get to experience both sides, but I don't think every partner is.
Yeah, we do a lot of deeper customizations where every single one of our customers gets a custom app that holds all their code. And yeah, I mean, it has to be done in a sustainable way. We wouldn't want to modify the core at all. If we need to, then we contribute that. But yeah, regarding the custom processes, etc., there can be a lot of code, custom doc types, external integrations, etc. So
it's a larger investment than just implementing base ERP next.
Yeah, definitely.
So a lot of partners from business point of view, they prioritize vanilla implementations where they don't have to get too much into development. And for you are we'll give you the best solution possible. You will not force fit your process to whatever the standard code is, and we'll help you write provide you a custom solution.
Yeah, even my impression is that if you want to solve the real problems a business has, then you oftentimes don't get around writing code. I mean, yes, you have the standard doc type, standard processes, but usually every business has some pain point that is not exactly solved already. So you'll have to write some code.
And there are also some of problems are also people problem and not exactly just that you can't just solve with
through code.
Just with software. You have to work with customers to understand the real problems, and that is the last mile problem that Frappe has over time disengaged from, and partners like him provide really good solution to those last mile problems.
And
I'm usually surprised by vanilla implementations because I've never seen a vanilla implementation before.
That's interesting because a lot, no, I wouldn't say most, but a lot of the partners just do vanilla implementations. They believe that, if we put this out into their system first, later if they need it, we can do customizations.
Yeah, that's in a way it is a good thing also, because you don't want your ERP transition to wait for all of your custom development. So you do it in phases. Your phase 0 or phase 1 is just go live on vanilla implementation, then figure out which things seem a lot of friction, these flows are a lot heavy, and we do let's say 1,000 invoice generation every day, maybe you want to optimize this process. So once you start using it, you realize you have much better picture of where you should spend time, and that's when you start doing your first phase of customization. So Frappe as a company also recommends this flow only, where you start with extremely vanilla implementation with maybe very little changes to the code, or just low code customizations that you would do, and then you move to a really hardcore custom solutions.
But then that change later on, after they've started using the system, isn't it more difficult? You've already put so much data and then you're customizing something. What if you have to do it all over again?
I mean, it is difficult, but like it again depends. That is more of a people problem
Yeah.
than software problem. So it depends on how the company is going to handle it. Like if they have ERP champions and like who are driving the change, then a lot of them can easily pull this off. Like change is not something you should shy away from when you are doing ERP implementation, because you're most likely moving from like Excel or something to like a serious business management software.
I mean, I also prefer the customers who say, okay, we want to stick as close to the core as possible, but then still they will always need some, some custom validations, some custom reports, etc. So yeah, it's a delicate balance between both. Stick as close to the core as possible and also have your requirements implemented.
What do you like more? Do you like contributing more or running your business more?
I like contributing a lot. Sometimes I think about hiring a manager so I can spend more time contributing.
Nice.
Hiring manager?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have to manage the
team.
part.
Yeah.
So you don't like the business part of it at all, or?
I do like it, but
What do you like this more?
I also like coding, like all the administration work, etc. It's more like, somebody has to do it, and that's usually me. But
as a leader, you get to do a lot of admin work. Yeah. And what are your favorite contributions? Like I think couple of weeks ago, we were speaking about the security fixes that you contributed. That was a while ago, though, right?
For the security fixes, it was more of a crowdfunding initiative. I mean, I do contribute like smaller security fixes occasionally, but one time we raised some money from the German ERP Next users and then sponsored Resilient Tech on that budget to solve as many security issues as they can. And
were people very receiving of the fact that of this monetary contribution, because it was monetary, and that's not often seen in contributing to open source, right? Yeah, so it was, I think the community really liked it. Some people have even asked to, doing another round. Oh, nice.
So this was, I think, way back in 21, 22, I think.
Yeah, I think so, 21, 20.
Around 22, I think. Yeah. So back then, I think I also just recently started working on Framework full time, and we had a lot of a huge backlog of security issues that we kind of knew and could be exploited if we did not fix it in time. But the movement for it was very slow. Our action on it was very slow, and at that time I think Raffael and these other community members who came together and funded the development, that sped up the our velocity into fixing this a lot more. And back then I think we started becoming way more secure than we were before. And then Resilient Tech also amazing contributor, another contributor. We should have them on podcast someday. So they contributed a lot of those fixes because he had the Sagar Vora, the co-founder of Resilient Tech. He had most context about framework and security. So he started fixing a lot of things. We also, from our side also, me, Suraj, Gavin, we all worked and got those fixes merged as soon as possible. Some of the work we also started doing. And so that kind of set this thing in motion. And then we also started paying Resilient whenever we could, whenever he was able to work for us, because he's also busy person. Yeah. So we also started paying Resilient, and now we are paying other another pen tester also for security. So us getting serious about security was in large part because of community, like Raffael and Sagar, who sped this up. Yeah, I remember that the last time I was in Mumbai 2022 at the conference, we both tried to push the topic a little bit. Yeah. And talking to you among others, and I think I also gave a small flash talk about the topic. Sagar also gave a talk about it, and that was, we were like, oh, this is going to scare a lot of people. But that is the reality of software. Scare them by? I mean, if they realize, okay, there was the security issue. Which could have gotten your site.
It was a big chunk of things that got us to the next level.
Yeah. This seriously kickstarted security motion, and now we have a full-time security engineer who just looks at security, and few other team members who like routinely check at reports and respond and fix things. So like we are much better at this because of community. Like this somehow wasn't inherently coming from Frappe's engineering team.
Yeah, but I think it just requires that one person. Luckily, we have the community to do that.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. And we can also rely on community to do pen testing, because we can't be pen testing our own code because like we'll have our own biases, and like I can't do that good of a job as Resilient, who hasn't written that code himself. Similar thing with other like whichever pen testers we have hired, they are usually good when they are from community itself.
What are your thoughts about like fixing more underlying issues in the architecture that affect security? Like, for example, the whole SQL query builder.
Yeah,
that's like very deep into the framework and can be like a cause of security issues, but it's very hard to change because it would break everything.
Yeah, so we have problem. So the other problem with security is like when we fix a security issue, a lot of people are using those bugs as like feature. Like so for them, that is not an issue. That like for them, when we fix it, it is a bug that we fix something that was working for them. So like we have to be very careful when we fix security issues also, where we are not causing too much breakage to large amount of users. And SQL injection is a recurring problem that people discover, like very new and creative ways of injecting something into ORM. ORM, SQL query is like, okay, so for non-technical audience, like maybe we should explain what SQL injection is. So when you type any input into like a form or something, like that input has to be stored in database somewhere.
Okay.
So like the SQL or SQL query is like an instruction for database to do something. So you tell database, okay, please insert this XYZ into database. And SQL injection is this creative technique that hackers can use to inject some kind of instruction into the data so that like your query itself gets modified. Like so now, even though we are issuing insert something into database, you can say, okay, please delete something also and let me read some secret thing that I'm not supposed to read. Like you insert instruction into the data and try to inject it into the code. So that is a very big problem, and we have fixed many instances of this like over time. And so, but the core, like I said, the problem is much deeper than fixing individual things, because the architecture itself, like the way we generate those instructions, is partly flawed. So that results in this more and more SQL injection opportunities.
And it might break, a lot, but isn't it better to do it sooner than later?
Yeah, so it is better to fix it, and we are planning to fix it. So the query builder project that started again way back in 2022, which is like we are moving away from this manual way of building this instruction to like a proper abstraction of the abstraction layer, which allows us to build this. And that has been work in progress for like 3 years now, and now it is 100% ready for us to migrate from the old ways to this new way.
Okay.
And it is like right now the only thing that is left is the flipping the switch. They're like, okay, we now feel ready for this new way of building queries, so that this injection attacks can be eliminated. And we'll most likely flip the switch in the next version, because in major version it is expected that some things can break. So people usually test it out and they check their custom code if it's still going to work or not. So yeah, we'll flip the switch in. But again, like it was not a very small or like a very explicit or explicit work also. Like over 3 years, someone did query building from point of view of improving query building experience for developers, and that eventually someone used it. Okay, we can use it to also fix security issues. A funny story, like that query building, when we introduced the query builder, I think Gavin was the engineer who introduced this. Like back then we were like, okay, why do we need this? This feels like another layer of syntactic sugar, or like it feels like a unnecessary painting work, or like why do this? We have something working. But like if you see it now 3 years later, now you realize, okay, that is fixing major security issues. That inspired Saqib to build Frappe Insights, because this layer of software, like like you don't see the impact like immediately, but like it like this kind of
Like
this,
dominoes. It
yeah,
keeps
like
going.
dominoes, all of these things. Like today, you don't even hear it in Insight story that Frappe Insights was likely caused by us building this Frappe query builder, or our security issues were fixed by that query builder thing.
I also find it really useful for writing more complicated reports, where you have like one query that is composed by different functions, and
Yeah.
it's like can really get crazy with dynamic joins, etc.
Yeah, so the SQL instruction can be very complicated for complex business queries. So like you build instruction one at a time, and then you just combine those instructions to build a larger instruction. That's the query builder. And before that, it was very complicated. Like you had to manually move around instruction strings, and it is way more complex than the way it is right now.
Hopefully some engineers listen to this podcast, because it will not make any sense to
Yeah.
normal people.
Yeah, I feel like I'm learning a lot. I think this all this talk is a little different from my usual podcast, but I like it. Like I like when I talk to people who teach me more things. So yeah, fun times. But if I want to ask actually you about, since we have you here, about the ecosystem in Germany as well. Because you do like contributing more, but you are also a partner. And I want to know how everything works there and how things are different than, what are the challenges that you see in Germany?
ERP Next is still a pretty niche market in Germany. But actually it's on par with SAP B1, according to search trends I recently saw on LinkedIn.
Interesting.
But yeah.
So both are niche markets.
Odoo is very popular, at least in search. People who really care about open source will discover ERP Next. And there are some ERP systems that have been open source, or at least available for local install, that's got some venture capital investments, are moving to a SaaS model, are getting very expensive. For example, Central. And then we get a lot of queries from companies who want to move away from Central towards ERP Next. So yeah, see some traction there. And yeah, when we started 5 years ago with the company, it was like there was nothing in ERP Next that was really suitable for Germany, and over time we're trying to localize it more and more, and cater to the German expectations. And yeah, nowadays I'm quite happy with the status of our custom apps. We have a bank integration, e-invoicing, some commonly used fields, custom fields, print formats that are like, Germany, you have standards for everything, even how a letter is supposed to look. Okay. There's a standard for that.
Very strict about all this stuff.
The exact spacing below the address, etc.
Yeah, like so another reason.
It folds nicely into an envelope. That was one of the first things we did.
That's interesting. And it's these small details. Like I think one of the reasons I brought up is because you're also largely contributing to translations, and that must have come about because of the lack of translation in our system.
Yeah, exactly. So German companies care a lot about translation because IT staff usually speaks English, but then when you have the more regular workers, many of them are more comfortable with German. So lots of companies are requesting or expecting a nice and complete translation. And then the translation system was always a bit difficult to work with, quite volatile, I would say. There has been an internal translation tool for some times. And, Frappe built its own translation portal that was live for a couple of years, but then was discontinued. Okay. I think the person who built it left, something like that.
This ownership.
Then there were times where you had to contribute translations via pull request to the source code, and then of course that's not really feasible to non-developers. I was really glad when we built that integration with the new translation platform that I did with some help from Ankush. Crowdfunding, it's like a third-party software, but they have a nice translation portal where you can contribute translation very easily, also for non-technical users. And then all the technical stuff is managed behind the scenes. It creates your code contributions automatically, basically. And yeah, it also required some more fundamental work in the translation system of the framework, that translatable strings are extracted from all sorts of places and recorded in a standardized format. And yeah, but now it's working really nicely. We also use the system for our custom apps. And yeah, pretty happy with the state of translations now.
Yeah, it's important to get this part right. And it's difficult for people who don't speak the language to understand it, right? So at one point, it has to be local, no matter what. For German translations, you're going to be the best person to know if it's right or not, because one wrong word and you're clicking something you shouldn't be clicking.
Yeah, so even from Frappe's perspective, we always wanted to have a decent translation system. It's not like we don't want it.
Of course not.
But it's but the incentive structure is just not there, right? Because all of us, even though I think for both of us, English is not our first language, but all of us use software in English only, our phones, our computers, even the workers in our factories, etc. They are taught to use English software only. There is no local language in computer UI, as far as I know. I haven't seen
in India. It's very rare to see. I think in the South you see it a little bit, but
but mostly people adjust to English instead of making the demanding that their software is compliant to local. So in India it is very different, and that is partly the reason why when developers use it, they don't see that as a problem at all, because they are used to looking at English. When I took up leadership role back in 2023, so I'm just telling this story of this translation system from our point of view. So when I took up leadership role in 2023, one of the project that I was working on was growth, which is growing the ERP Next adoption across the world. The obvious thing was without translations we cannot grow in a lot of communities, because they will just not accept English as a language. And some of our translations were very bad. Some of them were generated by Google Translate with a script, and at some point I thought, okay, we should just disable these instead of giving these very bad translations. So we did that also partly, and we also tried to move to the standard platform of using gettext as a standard for translation. And we built some code, one engineer wrote some code for it, but that never got merged, because again they had no idea about, or serious conviction into the idea of why we need these translations. And that again ties back to the earlier point that I made about the best contributions are from users who are facing the problem firsthand.
Yeah.
So for him, German translation is a very real problem. For us, it is for us, the translation problem is something that is hindering our growth, but it is 1, 2, or 3 steps detached from the real problem. So that's when I think I reached out, and he reached out. Okay, why is this not getting merged or something? And then I explained, okay, the engineer working on it is probably doing something else now, and did not quite get the motivation or even the understanding to see it through. So then from my side, I just supported him to, okay, please do the last mile things. Even though that PR was 80% completed, usually the last 20% takes a lot more time, which is a thing in software. It always feels easy. For the first 80 to 90% of work is easy, but the last mile is it takes forever. Some of that work is still going on how to improve the translations. And then he took it up. We just picked a standard tool, because we did not want to, again, we don't want to revive our platform that died because someone left. So we just rely on, for that we rely on this third-party tool called Crowdfunding, and we just let them handle, because they have done this work a lot better than us so far. That platform, I really like using their platform. Even when if I have to review something, it gives a much different user experience than something we would have written.
It's also amazing to see the community contributions on translations. yeah, I was also most of the time just focused on German translations. But now I get to see like Chinese translations are 100% completed on Crowdin. I never really talked to any Chinese users, but yeah, someone just signed up, completed all these translations almost overnight.
Yeah.
Like the speed is incredible.
So
How many
Chinese is Chinese is a good example where like there is apparently a huge community of ARPNX users in China, but like we don't know because the firework. But there is apparently like 20 to 30,000 user community in China that uses ARPNX, and they used to share their like these translation CSV files in like some app, or like they used to distribute it that way. And now I think Umair from our team spoke to
them and
I think Zoo Fisher is the name of the guy. Umair spoke to him and he got all of these contributions, translation merged into core. So like everyone gets to use them.
Yeah. But also German European languages like Serbian, Swedish, Norwegian, etc. Like there's one guy in Europe, Semso Marmutovic, who speaks 6 languages and contributes all of them to the portal.
Nice.
So yeah, for a lot of countries where I didn't even know we had ERP-Next users, we now have complete translations.
When we simplify contribution, obviously contributors who want to contribute will make it very easy. We'll find it very easy to contribute. Like now they just use UI instead of like learning to use Git and CSV files and sending a pull request. Like all of this is very developer focused workflow, which does not work
somebody
for...
that people who knows languages or might be focused on that can do.
The people who know different languages are usually have different skill sets and different profile than this. So
it's more accessible, which is... And how many languages do we have now on that?
I think it's 25 languages total, and about half of them are complete.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a huge change from past.
100%. Like the point of open source community, all of it is to make things more accessible, right? It's not just you do this and I do this and then we make something out of it. It's like more people can access it, and eventually they'll also become contributors.
Yeah, they already some of them already probably became contributors by this only. Like they can't do code contribution, but like they can, obviously if they know English and their mother tongue, they can help translate things.
There are so many ways to contribute. Like it's not just code. It's like you said, translations also. It's business also. It's all of it. Like even the smallest thing. I don't think we fully realize the potential of how people contribute, but they really do. People coming to Frappeverse is also contribution.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming, meeting people. I'm sure there must have been at least like 100 ideas out of those 800,000 people who came.
I think one of the biggest ways many people contribute is on the forum and Telegram. Just helping out newcomers figure things out, and that takes a lot lot of work, but it's very
really
helpful, and I think takes a lot of burden away from support and implementers as well.
Yeah, so we don't have the numbers, but like it's quite likely there is a much bigger community of unpaid free users than the paid users that we have. And those all kind of support each other on the Discuss forum. And like it's like the cheapest investment we have done, like just running that server. It's like probably less than $50 a month for us. And it's like the biggest investment that we have made in community.
Yeah.
Where people just help each other out. And it's also kind of important, right? Like when like a new user who just tries your software for free, who has who doesn't want to invest so much yet, who just asks the questions, and like if their question gets answered in like few hours, then they are more likely to try it and like take it seriously. So
and that was the first place it started, right? Like the first Discuss was the first. I think there was another platform, Google Chat or something, they used to use before Discuss. And I think somebody mentioned it to me during Frappeverse only, so I don't know, I might have to fact check this, but so like that was the first place that the community started building, I guess, without even...
I think probably it was Google Groups or something.
Google Groups, yeah.
Must have been a long time ago.
Yeah. It's the community is also quite old. Like I've seen some of the old posts and some people who have been there since probably day one or like year one.
Yeah, I think when Umair was on the podcast, he was mentioning, I forgot his name, someone who was one of the first contributors. He just started answering questions.
Aditya Dugal?
No, I think it was someone from the US.
John Clark, I think.
Yeah, I think so. So just like right off the bat answering questions. And, in the beginning, it must have been so surprising. Like people are just doing this out of their own volition, just helping people out and being like, maybe I had no help, but the least I can do is help other people.
Yeah. The online, this way of like of forming online communities, it's really amazing. Like these places like Reddit, and they have like a niche subreddits, but sub communities. But like our community is also quite great. Like it's very active. Like most of the time you get some answer.
Yeah.
And we also try from our side to encourage engineers to like even hire people to like work 100% on just making sure that community stays healthy and like people get responded to.
From Frappe's side, that would also, I think there is still some leverage. Like if you want to increase community participation, to be more active on the forums or more responsive to pull requests. I know that's a really hard problem because you cannot just like hire anybody to take care of this. But you need to have all this knowledge and you need to be really willing to spend time on this. But yeah, I guess there are also a lot of people who like create a PR and then nothing happens for 3 months or something, or who post on the forum and never get a response. So there's still definitely some room either for contributors to pick up on this or for Frappe to handle it yourself.
So from Frappe's side, most of the time it is a alignment problem or a bandwidth problem. So either people just don't know that this is a valuable work, like in which case like it's my job and like other like older senior engineers at Frappe's job to kind of like sell this idea that it is important, and like you don't see the impact immediately, but like if you do it for a few months, you see the impact. And we also hired someone full-time for community. That person then moved out to some other thing. But like we'll now again hire someone for full-time. We are interviewing people for full-time community work, like just make sure people get responded to, learn the ropes and like help people out.
But you also need people who are seasoned, no, with all this knowledge.
Partly yes, partly no. But like a lot of it, you can also like decent engineers can usually figure out solutions rapidly. They can like if they like doing it, they'll figure it out. And if you are in the office, like everyone is like at a distance of 1 or 2 feet. Like you can just go and talk to them. Okay, how do I respond to this person? Like how do I figure out what is the answer to this question? So that's how people can also learn while they are helping each other. In fact, this is how I learned, like back when I was learning programming or like anything, like if you join these communities, even if you don't know everything about something, like a particular software or some subject, while helping others, you get to learn a lot more things. So you should also think about that perspective while you're participating in communities.
That's also, by the way, how I got started. Like in the beginning, I knew nothing about ERP Next. And but I started helping out companies with their implementations. And just based on the fact that I was able to figure it out somehow. And just researching how to solve a problem one by one. And after some time, you have solved all the problems that anybody faces in their day-to-day work, and then get to do implementations really quickly. And I think in the end, like everybody has to go through this journey, like every new hire, they need to solve the problems one time and then they know the solutions and can be faster the next time.
So like if you solve enough problems, you build this global context of what this software is about, and about anything, like about any subject also, like the same concept applies. Like you need to start somewhere, you need to, like even if you don't know anything, you can't wait to be a seasoned developer before you start contributing to a community. If you want to do it, you just start doing it.
Trial and error. But don't you think like we talk about this, like we're not surprised anymore that this is such a generous community and all, but every time I look at it from the outside, I feel like this is so cool, and we're so desensitized to it because we're so used to it being so cool. And like that's why I keep wanting to point out that this is so cool, but I feel like all of us are so used to it that we're like
but I mean this makes you stick with the community, and you're not, or at least I'm not incentivized to leave the ecosystem because
Same case with us also.
It doesn't exist that much outside.
So that impact is clearly seen in like Frappe engineering also. Like we have very, very low attrition rate. Like except people whom we fire or we ask to leave, like very few people leave Frappe engineering teams because you see this community, you see your code out there, you see the impact. Like it feels much better to work on this thing, even if you like don't get paid like Google or something.
Yeah, and even if you're not a developer, it's so like for me also, like when I was working here before, I didn't actually understand or realize the impact and the size of this community. But now when I came back and I'm more interactive with the whole team and partners and all of y'all also, it just feels like, like I can't tell you all about it because you all already know it's so cool. So who do I need to tell more people that this is just like I'm a big fan of building communities in general. So like to see it exists outside certain spaces like art and media and all is just
Yeah,
an
it
empowering
sounds
feeling.
weird that like there is a cool business community around software business, and that is very common for like, let's say, like around stand-up comedy or around like a theater or
And
something.
still not that generous.
Yeah.
Like it's still not unmotivated by money, fame and all of that. So it's unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you can align your work and like some of these other things that you want in life, then it's a good combination for like long-term commitment to that work.
It is 100%. Like passion, work, get paid to do it. Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would also, if I wasn't getting paid, I would also contribute to Frappe on my free time.
Nice.
So
That was one
actually,
litmus test of knowing.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm most happy about. That my job is like doing what I enjoy, and
So before we close, any one piece of advice or one thing you would like to tell people just entering the community, learning about Frappe Framework, ERP Next?
Like don't wait to be like a seasoned professional before you participate in community or before you help each other out. Like start with the easiest thing, which is create a discuss account, participate there, like help people out with like write some custom code for them, like whatever you can, like if you want to be like a seriously good developer, functional consultant, or whatever role you aspire to be, like you have to start and you have to solve enough problems and build that global context, and you only do that by spending a lot of time there. Like there is that saying like 10,000 hours or something, like where you spend 10,000 hours on something, you become a master of it. And you will not get to spend 10,000 hours just at your company or like just at like one product or one project. Like if you want a broader exposure, like which ideally you should when you're starting out, you should go and participate in the community first. And if you're a developer, then yeah, you can start with code contributions, or at least just go and look at what people are contributing or the code that people are writing. So in fact, like for me, whatever I learned about good things about programming, which is like how to write code, how to structure it, how to write elegant code, is all from reading experts or like reading the best people in the industry.
Right.
Like so you want to do that also instead of just learning to I want to send like 2-line contribution. So yeah, like learn very broadly. That is my one tip.
Nice.
Yeah. One thing I notice sometimes is that people come with some sense of entitlement. They say, okay, yeah, I have solved this problem and I'm so generous that wanting to contribute it. And but I'm not getting a response within one day. So and then they're like pissed off and leave maybe, or
yeah, so like have some consideration. Yeah,
I mean, like, where does this entitlement come from? It's like maybe you have this problem, but who says Ankush has the same problem or even knows the context about this or whatever? So know be patient and make other people understand your problem. And respect their time, because many people do this on their free time. Many people maybe have it as their job, but even Frappe employees are most of the time not explicitly paid to help you or your issues. And in general, like if you don't pay for support, then don't expect it to be first class. I mean, if you need timely responses, if you need to call somebody, if you need your solution tomorrow, then you can go and hire somebody who does that for you. But in the community work, it needs to be a bit more balanced, patient, and everybody is on the same page.
That makes sense. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ankush. Thank you guys for being on this podcast. Did real have fun?
Yeah, this was amazing conversation.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks.
glad.
It was great to talk to you.
And thank you for staying back after Frappe was to record this.
course.
But yes, thank you so much for watching the Frappe podcast. I'll see you guys soon.